At the beginning of the film, we will be introduced to a family who is experiencing grief after their first child named Caleb left while serving as a soldier. It seems that a mother named Laura and a father named Spencer still can't forget Caleb, as well as their second and third children named Anna and Luke. One morning, Laura, who was sitting at home, tried to remember her time raising Caleb until Caleb was an adult.
Help you? It was David. We came to be good friends.
After the man named David explained that his purpose in coming was to give Caleb a message before Caleb died, Laura was very touched because the message itself said that Caleb loved his family very much. Hearing that David wanted to find lodging, Laura happily offered David to stay at her house because she herself still wanted to listen to some stories about Caleb when he was a soldier. David, who did not want to waste his money, had no choice but to accept the invitation. After that, we are shown with Anna, who has just woken up and is immediately preparing to go to work. Laura, who saw Anna, then introduced David to her, but Anna, who was in a hurry, did not pay much attention to this. Laura then invited David to go look at Caleb's room. After finishing touring the house, David could only be silent, but from his eyes radiated a mysterious aura that held many secrets. At school, Luke's youth turned out to be far from his dreams. Besides not having friends, he was also often bullied by bullying students. But with a strong heart, he always acted strong in front of his mother when he was picked up. When night fell, David, who had just finished dinner with Caleb's family, was invited by Caleb's father to accompany him to chat while drinking a little alcohol. During the conversation, Spencer talked about his manager who had just been promoted because he had an insider brother. Spencer then said that he hated his job because of this. David, who heard Spencer's story, then said that he too was a person who hated nepotism. Here, Spencer, who felt that he had found a friend to talk to, asked David to stay a few more days at his house. The next day, Luke, who had just come home from school, was shocked when he saw that David was the one who picked him up this time. Not only that, David then said that he knew that Luke often got bullied at school. David could find out because when he was little, he was also often bullied at school until he finally decided to fight the bullies alone. Hearing David's motivational story, Luke became very excited. David, who saw that, then offered Luke to take revenge on the popular students who often bullied him. Before Luke had time to answer, David stepped on the gas to follow the bully's car. When they arrived at the bar, David deliberately ordered a lot of drinks for the bullies, but strangely the bullies who received the drinks became angry. It turned out that the drinks were a glass of milk and hot chocolate. Feeling underestimated, one of the bullies approached David and Luke, and suddenly a commotion broke out. Here it can be seen that David is not a random man, and the fact that he is a former soldier is not a fact that can be denied, as evidenced by how he broke the legs of the bullies so that they would always remember their cruel treatment of Luke. Luke, who saw that, became very inspired by what David did to defend himself. After finishing off all the bullies, David then paid all the losses belonging to the bar owner. When they arrived home, David was invited by Anna to accompany her to a party. Anna's reason for inviting David was actually to attract the attention of her female friends by showing that she could bring a handsome man as her bodyguard at the party later. Anna's desire was then reinforced by her accidentally knocking on the door of Luke's room and was surprised by the appearance of David's muscular body. When they arrived at the party, Anna introduced David to her friend Christine. Seeing David's ability to lift 2 gallons at once amazed Anna and Christine. Not only that, David also intervened when Christine was about to be abused by her ex-boyfriend. That made Christine fall in love with David and immediately offered herself to sleep with him. After making Christine sweat on the bed, David went out and chatted with one of Anna's boyfriend's friends named Craig. It is known that Craig has links to military people where he can easily trade firearms. Hearing that, David then said that he was interested in buying firearms sold by Craig. Initially, Craig wondered about David's real purpose, but David said that he just wanted to remember his time as a soldier. In addition, the firearm he had before fell when he was on his way to this city. Hearing that, Craig immediately scheduled a date for them to make the firearm transaction. Anna, who suddenly asked David to go home, made David surprised by Anna's sudden change in attitude. On the way home, Anna then told the reason why she was in a bad mood and wanted to go home from the party. The fact was revealed that Anna's relationship with her current boyfriend was on the brink because Anna strongly disagreed that her boyfriend always used drugs every time they met. She had wanted to break up many times, but her boyfriend always begged her to maintain their relationship. David, who heard Anna's story, then said that sooner or later Anna would be able to forget her boyfriend because he had also been trapped in a toxic relationship like what Anna was feeling now. Hearing David's response, Anna felt very appreciated. And this also made the seeds of love grow instantly because it was clear from the look on Anna's face. The next morning, Anna, who again woke up late, accidentally listened to David, who was calling someone, where in their conversation she heard words about facial surgery and changing the arrangement of teeth. Here, Anna became very curious about David's true identity. She felt suspicious. Especially last night had just been made weak by the figure of David, who he thought was very perfect. With deep curiosity, Anna returns to her room and dials the number of her country's government. She finds out if the name David really has a trace of army service with her late brother. And finally, here's the real plot twist of David, where the local government does not know any data about David's real identity, because the real David should have died while fighting with the late Caleb, which can be concluded that this David is another person with a fake identity. Then we are shown with one of the world's most lethal government agents named Major Carver. Here he gets confirmation from the local government, who gets news that the person the world government has been looking for has just been found in a remote town, and that person is none other than David. Meanwhile, David, who had previously arranged a meeting schedule with Craig, is now at the firearms transaction. There is already Greg and his friend waiting for David's arrival, and after a few times trying the feasibility of the firearms he bought, suddenly David attacked. At home, Anna received a call back from the local government number, and they openly confirmed that the name David that Anna was looking for was not found in any files. On hearing this, Anna rushed to tell her parents. But as soon as she did, she was scolded by her mother and father as if she had lied about David. Spencer then changed the subject with the good news that he had been promoted to manager of the company he worked for. Laura and Anna ask why that happened, because to their knowledge the manager at Dad's place of work was just appointed a month ago. Spencer then recounts a tragic incident where the previous manager was found dead this morning from an overdose. Before Anna can get suspicious about the tragic incident, she gets a call from her ex-boyfriend. It was revealed that Anna's ex-boyfriend was now being chased by the police and was accused of being the murderer of their own friend, Craig. Hearing her boyfriend's words, Anna felt that something very strange was happening within her family, as if all their wishes had come true. Luke, who could fight back against bullies, Spencer, who had just been promoted to manager, and herself, who could suddenly be calm and get away from her drug addict boyfriend. Still confused, Anna told her entire family what she knew. David was also there helping Luke prepare pumpkins for the Halloween party at his school. Anna then told about David's identity, which was not found in the military files, and her boyfriend, who had just been arrested on charges of murder. Hearing the facts conveyed by Anna, David then said that it was clear that he did not have a file in the government because, in fact, after carrying out his mission with Caleb as a soldier, he was recruited as a special government unit which required him to erase all his identities. Hearing David's story, Laura and Spencer became very angry with Anna, who had accused David carelessly. Not only that, Spencer also said that it was possible that Anna's boyfriend was the killer of his own friend because their whole family already knew that Anna's boyfriend was a drug user who could do anything to satisfy himself. Hearing her father's words, Anna became very angry because she felt that her own family no longer trusted her. The next day, David, who was helping Laura hang out the clothes, was asked by Laura to take the clothes basket that was still in the house, and when David entered the house, dozens of soldiers came who swiftly surrounded the Caleb family house. Seeing that her house was surrounded, Laura was very shocked. Then Carver came and asked where David was. Laura, who was still silent and confused, answered that David had just come in to get an extra clothes basket. With reflexes that were quite fast, David pulled out his gun and started to finish off the soldiers sent by Carver alone. Here, we can see that David has the strength equivalent to dozens of soldiers, where he can easily read the movements of people who want to shoot him. Even Carver, as the most reliable agent of the world government, is very overwhelmed to keep up with David's defense and shooting abilities. David then headed towards Laura, who was hiding in the kitchen. At first, he tried to calm Laura by hugging her, but unknowingly, this is where David's true mask was revealed. Secretly, he stabbed Laura until finally, Laura died helplessly on the spot. After doing so, David killed all the soldiers, leaving only Carver. He then took Caleb's family car and fled from there. On his way, David saw Spencer's car coming from the opposite direction. He quickly stepped on the gas to hit the car. The action clearly made Spencer become injured and dying. In the midst of his rather blurry vision, Spencer saw David's figure approaching him as if he wanted to help, but it turned out that David shot Spencer viciously. At Anna's workplace, Carver came to take Anna away. He said that Anna had to be protected because David had just killed Anna's parents. Hearing that, Anna became very sad, but she had no choice but to follow Carver because she herself knew how dangerous David was when he was hunting someone. And sure enough, David followed Anna to her workplace. Luckily, Carver had gone ahead of him. So when he got there, David only found Christine, who was working. Christine, who saw David's arrival, thought that David had come to continue their second round, but instead of continuing their fight in bed, David took Christine to the afterlife. He coldly killed everyone in Christine's workplace. He also didn't forget to clean up his actions by blowing up the place until it was destroyed and nothing was left. On the way to Luke's school, Carver explains David's true identity, which turns out to be a figure formed by the world government to be a merciless killing machine. It is unknown how they managed to create him, but what was implanted in David's mind was only a way to kill and a way to clean up. This is proven by his steps to hunt down Anna and Luke again as a form of cleaning up the evidence. When they arrived at Luke's school, which was holding a Halloween event, Carver and Anna managed to meet Luke, who was on the committee for the event. They then explained what happened and quickly invited Luke to take shelter at the world government headquarters, because Carver himself realized that David would never stop trying to clean up the evidence that he had committed murder. However, when they were about to get ready to leave, one of Luke's teachers suddenly fell silent. There is a fight between Carver and David, which is clearly seen here. Carver, as a trusted agent of the world government, can't even touch David. After killing Carter easily, David then looks for Anna and Luke. As an older sister and the only remaining family member, Anna decides to protect her brother by any means. Seeing Anna, who is cornered, Luke bravely takes a fairly reckless action. With their cooperation, they can kill David, who is dying from blood loss. But instead of feeling pain, David praises Anna and Luke's cooperation, which can defeat him. Luke and Anna rush to escape from the place. At the end of the film, Luke and Anna are seen who have been saved by many local police officers. Anna then promises Luke that she will continue to be by Luke's side forever as the only remaining family and also a big sister. In between the police conversations, Anna and Luke hear that the bodies found were only 2 people, while they clearly know that there should be 3 bodies, including David, who is dying from blood loss. Then, from inside the school, a suspicious-looking officer appeared. This movie explains that David is a member of the military who is very superior and genius, arguably the best. Then he was recruited to be used as research material. It can be said as a test material to create a strong army for the military, but his research was not finished. He escaped and made him like a psychopath. David was designed if his identity was threatened or known, he had to kill the person, even though he didn't want to, because it was a program implanted in his body. But he couldn't kill Luke because Luke had said that they were friends and didn't blame Luke for killing him, even though he could have paralyzed Luke easily, but he chose not to do that. That's all the information from me. Thank you.